guys, welcome to this Dantooine tour. I'm kind of bored here at home, so I thought I might take a video of my collection and show you around. So let's start with this. This is the RS TIE Fighter Pilot helmet signed by Richard Bonehill, which is a really nice piece. Got it a while ago from the fine gentleman at RS. Comes with a chest box. I do have the chest and back as well, but I didn't get around to finish that yet, so that's how I display this for the moment. And it's followed by the EFX Studio Scale TIE Fighter, which is a bit dark right now, so not sure if you can make out much of it, but it sits right underneath the TIE Fighter helmet. Next up, we've got a Return of the Jedi Stormtrooper helmet by Cast from Original CFO. Actually, that's one of the very first pulls that CFO did. I was over in London pulling them with Mark and Joar back in, I don't know, about 4 or 5 years ago, I don't remember. Pretty sweet if you like Return of the Jedi helmets. It looks sort of like a squished puppy dog version of the A New Hope helmets, but it's part of the history, right? So gotta have one. On top of it, we've got CSAT 3, which is a droid we can see in A New Hope and Return of the Jedi in the background. The original was sculpted by Brian Muir, the same guy who also did Vader and the Stormtrooper armor. And this one comes from Zork in the UK, guy on the RPF. Pretty nice sculpt. Finished it a while ago, but it's been sitting there and it creeps the hell out of my missus, so does the job, I guess. And it's got some Yavas, which are from Gentle Giant. And that's the Sideshow life-size Salacious Crumb, which is not exactly life-size actually, it's a bit undersized. Still a really nice piece though. Look at that stare, look at it. Stares right into your soul. Down there we've got Luke Skywalker's lightsabers from Return of the Jedi. The Hero, or version 1 lightsaber. It's actually fan-made, I think it's a Rilo. And the other one is the Master Replicas version 2 that I bought loose without any stand or packaging. But I got it for really cheap, so fine with that. And on top, we've got the Skiff-Guard blaster, the one that Luke uses in Lando and in Return of the Jedi on the sail barge. So pretty neat prop as well. Based on the original gun, actually, this one still fires if you want to. It's a pellet gun, but I haven't really used it. And down there is the Rancor pit. That's actually, look, you can see my feet there. Let's see if I can get a better shot. So that's the Rancor model that was done by AMT ages ago, I think, for the special edition, or about that time anyway. Yeah, it's not gonna see much on this. That was given to me by Kelly Kreider, a fellow R2 builder and a superb model maker. If you don't know him, look him up on Facebook. He's got some really cool stuff going on. Up there, we've got Vader A New Hope bust that will eventually maybe turn into a life-size statue if I ever find all the other parts and some room for it, actually. But for now, he just sits up there and is looking menacing. Followed by my deactivated Sterling, and that's my ugly muck in the back there. With all original parts. Quite heavy, that one, and a really nice piece as well. Not really for trooping, but it's a nice display piece. There's the spare Hengstler counter. That's the Missus. It's a 3D figure made by Disney. We did it at a convention. I think 3 years ago. And that's me over there. And my Stormtrooper armor. Well, it's not exactly... Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice figure for what we paid for it. And actually was for charity, so win-win. What do we have here? Look, it's the Greedo Killer. Based on a MGC Mauser. Which is the actual same gun that they used in the movie for the pickup shots. Where Han shoots Greedo first, as we all know. And the work in progress deactivated Mauser Han Hero Blaster from A New Hope. Haven't really gotten far with it, but thought I might display it as already. And there's a Han Solo bust, which is a Howard Zenf sculpt. There's a Rebel Endor helmet. The Sideshow, is it Sideshow or is it Gentle Giant? I think that's the Gentle Giant one. The Gentle Giant Biker Scout on his bike. Actually floating. Rare piece, that one. Lots of people looking for it. Accompanied by the RS Props Biker Scout helmet, which I don't have a plaque for yet. Yeah, I didn't take one with me when I was there last time, and it's got to stay that way until I get there next time, I guess. But the helmet speaks for itself. Beautiful piece. Someday I'm gonna weather it up. Just didn't get to it yet. Followed by a Stormtrooper Hero helmet. It's a TE helmet, that one. And my Set for Stun replica. That was probably one of the first dirty, grungy, chipped helmets. If I carry on explaining everything, this is gonna take a while, I guess. But what the heck? Let's have some fun with this, right? There we go, the next RS Prop Masters piece. It's my trooping suit. Actually one of the very first suits that ever left RS Prop Masters 5 years ago. Some of the molds, actually, we were still actually finishing the molds while I was there. So yeah, that's that. Held up quite well for the amount of trooping that I did with it. I mean, it is a bit dinged up and everything, but that just adds to the character, so I kind of like it. And this one is actually PVC, if you're wondering. Did some fiddling with the hands today, so it would look a bit cooler with the E11 in his hands. Right, there it is, and that is like the very first certificate that they made back in the day. They look a bit different now, but I mean, it's just the card in the middle. I made up the frame and the canvas for it. Let's continue. Up there we've got IJE8, or a piece from the Cantina, or whatever. It's one of the original Derwent Engine burner cans. The Andy Rogers, a guy in the UK, a friend of mine, found in a workshop basically. There was like 8 of them still in the box, new old stock, and they went fast, as you can imagine. And I've got one up there. I haven't done anything to it. For IG88 you would have to cut it down, and that kind of feels wrong to me, like cutting up something that rare and pristine. And there's Greedo up there, sculpted by a friend here in Germany, Carsten Sacher, Kopfmacher if you want to look him up. Looks a bit young, this sculpt. Could be that guy that Warwick Davis plays in episode 1 actually. I don't remember his name. I'm not very keen on the prequel, so excuse me for that. That is an Anon Stormtrooper helmet that I just recently picked up, and yeah, it's a pretty nice helmet. A bit small, a bit idealized, but it's made of the same green material as the greenlets from RS, or that's what I presume anyway. It's not a bad helmet. Might have that one up for sale if anyone's looking for a good Stormtrooper helmet. Just let me know. And that one is from Rogue One, as you all know. Shore Trooper helmet. This one came from Backstage Props, and I finished it myself. Did a bit of more Stormtrooper goodness. Look at that. This is the promo blaster, the Hero Stormtrooper carries in the promotional shots for A New Hope. It was reused now for Rogue One as well. The Death Troopers carry it. Don't think they use it, but they have it in their holsters. The mini bust and a third scale printout of the Set for Stun 3D scan that was actually used for this, and then found its way to the fandom fan scene, and somebody printed out a third scale. There's also full scale printouts somewhere out there, but they are rare as hell, and yeah, I don't own one. That is my beloved centerpiece when it comes to Stormtroopers. It's the SA edition, screen accurate edition RS helmet that I finished myself, and I'm quite fond of it. Looks like an original it, feels like an original it. I think you could fool people into thinking it is. I don't do that, obviously, but yeah, that is like probably the closest I can get to the original, and I'm really happy with it. Then we've got a Death Star droid helmet or head. It's not exactly a helmet, can't put it on, it's more a display piece. That was done by Gordon Tarpley, G3 Props in the US of A. And I picked it up when we went over there for Celebration Anaheim. Was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago? 2 years, I think, yeah, 2 years ago. And he gave it to me. Finished in Alclad Chrome, he did that. And it's still nice and shiny. That's the Emperor Master Replicas cane and clasp that they brought out ages ago. Picked it up cheap. And we've got an autograph by Peter Cushing. The late Peter Cushing, who played Tarkin in Rogue One. And another flick, I don't remember. That's the mask that goes on top of this guy. And Return of the Jedi stunt tour, whatever, saber. Next to it, fan made, obviously. Don't have the dome on display because it takes up too much space, and it's really not that special. So I'm sticking to the mask, and the rest of the bust and the dome is stashed away in its box. Probably is going to stay there for a while longer. Followed by Boba Fett, another fan-made helmet. On this one, I'm not really sure what the source is. I bought it second-hand from Dennis Pites, another guy here on the cargo hold. Great fella. It's set to be from a Spanish guy. I replaced the rangefinder with one from RS Prop Masters. Sandtrooper helmet, that was actually from the very first run that RS Props did. It started as a Stormtrooper helmet, it's now a Sandtrooper. From Dantooine. It was given to me by a friend, Hervoya, you probably know him, he's on here as well. And he sent that to me a while ago. And now it sits next to the Sandtrooper. I think that's quite fitting. There we have an A New Hope Vader double signature edition Master Replicas saber that came to me without display or box. Again, just like the V2 Return of the Jedi Luke saber. But it was fairly cheap and it's kind of nice. I think I have to clean up those plaques someday because they're tarnished, as most of the Master Replicas plaques are nowadays. And that's Darth Vader A New Hope chest box casting. Still in raw form, and it's probably going to stay that way because it shows all the nice detail, that all the dings and scratches that the original had, so it stays there. And it's got the found part buttons next to it. Right. I think that's it for the dark side of Dantooine. Let's go on with the Millennium Falcon. What a piece of junk. Sure, you've seen it before. It's a Master Replica Signature Edition Millennium Falcon that I bought, I'd say 3 years ago. Found Rob from RS found it in the UK, told me about it, and I said, yeah, that's probably one chance I'm gonna have to buy it. So went ahead, got it, lived on rice and toast for a month or longer. I don't. Took some sacrifices, but it's a really nice piece, and it has Han and Chewie in there, done by Philip Robinson, a very talented sculptor that's also on this group, and yeah, he's done a brilliant job on those, and he does a brilliant job on just about anything he does. So if you don't know him, look him up, and you're gonna like what you're gonna see. We've got the signature by Harrison Ford that came with it, and the signature by Peter Mayhew that I picked up at Celebration, and that plaque replica basically, which has the same number, same signature edition number as the original. That was done by Ariel Martinez, another guy here on the cargo hold, so you will see there's a lot of cargo hold goodness present on this in this collection. And I just painted on the white strip because it didn't come with it, and I wanted it to match the other plaque, and then Peter kind of scribbled all over it. And that brings us to the rebel side, the light side, and the dusty side as well. I think you can see it. I hope it's not too distracting. It's original Dantooine dust right there. Let's see, we've got the Master Replicas training remote that goes for silly money these days. Very nice piece. I'm not sure why people pay that much. I picked it up when it was still cheap, and I'm quite happy with it. And it comes with a fan-made set of Luke's macro binoculars that I basically put together. Still missing a few pieces, and most of the pieces are resin, so it's not like the most high-end version of it, but it does the job and looks quite nice on display. And there we've got Luke. It's a sculpt done by JRX, and that's an original Graflex converted to the Skywalker lightsaber as seen in A New Hope, which I hope will eventually get a nicer display. I think it deserves a more prominent spot, but I'm running out of space, so that will be something for Dantooine 2.0 once I move next year, or at least that's the plan. More Luke goodness. That's the EFX ESB Signature Edition helmet that I picked up on a German board just shortly after Mark signed all these at Celebration. That's the Yoda lamp. That was a quite popular run on the RPF a couple of years ago, and I think they're sought after now as well, and people were asking for another run. Never happened, but it's a nice little piece, and you know, it's the lamp that Yoda steals from Luke and then gets into a fight with R2-D2, and there he is, and his batteries are out. He should be blinking more, but yeah, the batteries are low, so excuse me for that. Still looks quite fine. Was actually my very first project, and what got me into all these Star Wars props. And yeah, I just love him. That thing is so beautiful. And we've done so many events together, so if you'd ask me for which piece I'd keep, even if I had to sell it all, it definitely would be R2. And we were talking about Yoda, so there he is. That's the Philip Robinson Yoda. Well, the parts, I got them from him, painted it and put the hair on and everything. Still not quite happy with the body, but it looks alright, I guess. Take a step back. Accompanied by Stuart Freeborn's and Frank Oz's autographs. And there's more Luke stuff down there. I think I missed it before. Tauntaun, Hoth bust, and the Empire Strikes Back Cyber, which is based on a replica. Graflex. And so that's it for that detail. We've got Carrie Fisher's blast up there from Master Replicas, also the signature edition that I got in a trade from Hervoya as well. And another piece that goes for silly money, the thermal detonator. That's not the signature edition. It's the weathered version as well. But yeah, I've heard people pay crazy prices for this. That is actually a cast from an original ESB stunt blaster. If I go up close, you'll see it's quite rough. And that's what props were back then. Just a hunk of resin. Kind of looks like an E11. But it's got its own charm because it's, yeah, basically a straight first generation cast of an original. Not quite the same as a deactivated Sterling, but for people who like the screen used mojo, this thing is pretty cool as well, and it's offered by RS Props. Surprise! So if you're looking for something like that, hit them up and they can sort you out. And then there's our Return of the Jedi aliens. We've got Neon Numb, done by Chris Stevens, and Admiral Akbar, which was bought off a guy on eBay, goes by the name of 7 Hats, 10 Horns, I think. Something like that anyway. And yeah, both quite fine. Look funny up there. And it's a trap! We've got them both. And then there's the 2-1B. And we've got a reflection. Another sculpt by Zork on the RPF, the guy who also did the CZ3 that I showed you earlier. This one has the original microphone in the front that I placed there. It had the resin cast, I just chopped it off and put the original on there for extra coolness. And yeah, that's that droid hat. Followed by Obi-Wan Kenobi, another JRX bust, and his saber, which is a Rust Rep saber. No original parts here, unfortunately. They're dead expensive, but it does the job. It looks quite nice. Painted and weathered by me, again, as most of the pieces here. Except for the licensed pieces, which we got another one here. It's the Wedge Antilles helmet by EFX, one of the few products they actually delivered. And that is a cast from original Medal of Yavin. It's a fan-made big Starklighter helmet. I think it's a Golden Armor or Marcos. I don't remember quite which one it was. Been here for a while. It's a bit big, but the paint job is quite nice. And yeah, it basically finishes off the 3 amigos, which is Wedge, Biggs, and Luke. The 3 guys who did the attack run on the Death Star. Even if both this one and that helmet, they're not exactly the A New Hope versions, but well, that's my reasoning for having 3 X-Wing pilot helmets. It's the 3 amigos from A New Hope. More Yoda. And there's 3PO right behind R2. Another best of fan-made parts. Took me a couple of years to find them all and assemble them. Not quite happy with all of it. And he's definitely gonna need a chrome finish one day, but before I get there, I'll have to rework some parts like the shoulders, which are a tad big, and there's a couple different spots that need some TLC, but if I ever get there, I will someday get there, but you know, there's so many projects and so little time. So this is just Valken gold finish, which works for weathered 3PO, I guess, but yeah, the chromed ones are a lot nicer, so I'm gonna do this one day. Another work in progress, BB-8, 3D printed and frame done by fellow BB-8 and R2 builder Mika Askernas. Still have to finish a lot of pieces, and sanding and smoothing out 3D prints is just a pain in the ass. So that's probably gonna stay that way for a little while longer. But the dome is finished, and that turned out rather nice. So yeah, maybe one day you'll get to see a finished BB-8 at Dantooine. That is my F11D for my TFA Stormtrooper. Comes with lights as well, he said, and there they are. Lights on top, lights on the counter, hidden switch is here. That worked better before, I don't know, kind of stuck right now. Think I just destroyed it. No, it's still working. There we go. Yeah, I'm using that for trooping in my TFA armor. That's the missus over there. Race blaster, which is made of stainless steel. There's like 5 of them. Another friend in Germany made those. They're all handmade. And comes also with lights and sound. Or it would come with lights and sound if I had turned it off. Now the battery's dead. Stupid me. I showed it to a friend yesterday and then I didn't turn it off, so the battery's drained. That's the Star Wars Blueprints book, which is huge. And if you're into props and set building, this thing is just solid gold, as you can tell. No, really, it's a really, really nice book. There's Darth Vader helmet that I put too close to my heating, and well, you can see what happened. I still display it because, you know, it would be a shame to throw it away, and a little warpage is really not too bad, is it? Followed by Rey, life-size bust. This also works, but the switch is inside, so can't really switch it on right now. And that's the part she rips out of the Star Destroyer, which is also based on the original found parts. This is the TFA section now, so if you don't like TFA, you might switch off now. There's a couple books right below Rey. All Star Wars, of course. And that's Finn over there. One of my trooping helmets. If I go out as Finn, has to be the bloody one. Followed by the clean one, or relatively clean anyway. Looks quite clean on the camera. We've got Captain Phasma. Oh, these are by Anovos actually, if you're wondering. But I took it apart and modified it and repainted it, and yeah, I couldn't leave it alone, so that's a modified Anovos, and that one as well. Followed by Captain Phasma, which is a fan-made kit that I bought on the RPF, done by the Rocketeer, and finished and painted by me. Another Anovos helmet up there. It's Kylo, which is really nice. Probably the best Anovos product that I've seen so far. So if you're looking for a good Kylo helmet and you're ready to drop the cash on it, that one's pretty much perfect. If you ask me, probably others would argue, but from what I've seen, none of the fan-made helmets got the shape quite right. This one does. And up there we've got R2-CE2. No, R4-CE2, that was his name, because it's an R4 droid. It's the droid I built for Celebration Europe 2. He was on stage, I was on stage with him for all the main panels, and this one's actually signed in the back by a couple actors and people who were involved in the show. And I'll show you more, but I'm small and it's right up there, so that'll have to do. And there's the German Force Awakens poster, and down there It's the Last Jedi poster from the recent celebration that's still waiting for a frame, and then once I'll have it framed, it'll go up probably in the bedroom. And then we finish off with the McQuarrie tribute corner. Oh, that's another Force Awakens piece over there. And yeah, that's the McQuarrie tribute piece here. We've got some of the Gentle Giant busts, some of his pictures up on the wall. That's the Kotobukiya 30th anniversary set, which is based on this fine painting by Mr. McQuarrie. One of the nicest Kotobukiya sets out there, I think, because the sort of simplified cartoonish attempt that they're using with their figures works quite well with that McQuarrie style. Kind of like this one. It was fairly cheap when they put it out. I don't know what they're going for these days, but if you're into McQuarrie stuff, this is quite a nice display. Stormtrooper, and I think I just shared this recently. It's the McQuarrie style Stormtrooper life-size helmet done by Skygun Bros, which you can find on Facebook as well. I just recently finished, and that would be a fan-made display of different designs, which we've got there. And that's like a 3D version of these three. And that one was done on the RPF 10 years ago. And I picked up the very last kit. Finished it up and painted it all, which is quite a nice piece as well, and it's kind of obscure. Not many people have it, and I've hardly seen any finished versions, so if you like that one, you're probably gonna have a hard time finding one, or try the RPF, try hit it up and see if anyone's got one stashed away somewhere and is willing to sell. Right on, I think that's about it. That's Dantooine. Only took 40 minutes to get through it. If you're bored by now, I can understand, but, well, if you're not, post a comment. If you want to know about any of the pieces, let me know. I'm always happy to talk about my collection and about where to find stuff. Alright guys, so that's that, and how am I going to finish this now? May the Force be with you? Maybe, oh, that's good. So, may the Force be with you all, and have fun collecting.